Getting into our next game as soon as possible. Of course, the Chiefs taking on Absolute. And look, if we're going to talk about David and Goliath, I think now is the time to do it, Rusty.
There couldn't be a better time. Chiefs looking for that perfect run. Of course, they've found themselves 13-0 so far. Their last game right now, looking for that dream run.
Yeah, Absolute really looking to try and secure that fifth position. Of course, they potentially can if Sin don't manage to win their last game. Of course, Rosie in there would probably be saying, we can do it, guys. Make sure that they can get that tie for the fifth place. But the Chiefs looking so dominant at the moment. It's going to be so hard for Absolute to lock away that spot. But 14-0, that is the dream for our top team.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if the David versus Goliath matchup can actually come to fruition and Absolute can maybe clinch a victory against the Chiefs. It's happened with Fortnite. We saw it in the first split. Can it happen again is the question. But the important part about getting fifth place is that you avoid relegations.
Yeah, exactly. So making sure that they have that safety of getting to that position. And look, if Sin lose their last game, they still have the opportunity. They have to break the tie, of course, between Sin Gaming. So we may see Absolute take on Sin at the very end of the night. But other than that, look, they really want to try and get to that spot. And the Chiefs looking to carry their momentum into the playoffs. Because, of course, 14-0, you can't be feeling much better than that.
Definitely. If they can make the 14-0 perfect run going into the playoffs, they'll just be commanding their way through.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But we are into Champion Select, ladies and gentlemen. Maokai going to be banned away first, and Alistair going to be the second ban here. Of course, Absolute do not want to see Ejim on his signature champion, Gragas and Callista to follow.
Yeah, lots of bans coming out fast. The Alistar, Callista, just the very strong standard bot lane type of bans. The Maokai, a bit of a targeted ban against Jack-Attack. It's his most played top lane champion, so getting that one off the board, maybe bringing back another possibility for him. Of course, he can play everything as a veteran top laner. We'll see what he wants to do without the Maokai, though.
Yeah, and Jack-Attack and Malik are actually the most stable members of this Absolute lineup. This team has gone through a whole lot of different iterations. Of course, Mattress spent some time playing in the mid lane there for a moment, but Jack-Attack and Malik, they've been there for the whole time. So ban away the Maokai and the Gragas, the comfort picks for both of these players. Makes a whole lot of sense. Nara is going to be the following ban, so Jack-Attack getting a whole lot of attention there in the top lane.
Yeah, and smartly the Ezreal, of course. We saw it last game, definitely. Don't want there, not on Swiffer either. So that is off the board. And now it's on them to first pick, but of course we saw it in the last game again. Ryze, the first pick, still an option.
Yeah, Ryze is definitely there, hovering the Rek'Sai at the moment. And of course, with Ezreal banned away, not going to be seeing that one picked up first for Swiffer there in the mid lane, like you mentioned. But we'll see whether it is going to be the Rek'Sai pickup here, because you did mention the fact that the Ryze is open. I'm pretty sure that Swiper understands that. We'll see whether he's going to potentially look at taking that to the top lane, whether Swiffer wants to flex it in the mid. We'll see what happens, but it is going to be Rek'Sai locked away.
Yeah, Swiper known more for, say, the Hecarim and Rumble style of carry top lane. As Ryze does fit the trend, but not going to be what he's looking for just yet.
My goodness.
That was quick.
That was some severely quick picks. The Fizz and the Trundle locked away immediately. Trundle blind picked? I don't know.
Well, I know it's very tanky. I know that it's very good into one particular type of offensive style, but we don't actually know what the Chiefs are doing just yet, so you can't stack any particular resistance. It does say to me that they're going to look to keep Jack-Attack split pushing, because essentially when it comes to top laners, he can 1v1 anything ever.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Trundle, fantastic into a single tank comp, because you use that subjugate, make everyone squishy on the enemy team, but when you're against multiple tanks, things get a little bit difficult, and looks like we are going to have Reed here taking away that Corki. First Mate not going to be able to pick that one up. And the Shen there in the top lane. First Mate's now considering a Quinn. I don't know what's going on this game, Rusty.
Well, I can tell you that they haven't picked the Quinn.
Thank goodness! That is going to be Cho'Gath and Lucian locked away here for Absolute. Looks like mid base going to be taking that Cho'Gath into the mid lane. Makes a little bit more sense than that Trundle pick away there in the top side of the map. And Chiefs now reeling, working out what they want to take into this pretty ludicrous comp.
Well, there's one thing we know about Absolute is when it comes to drafting, they're always very strong in that regard. And they do like to take some really weird niche picks and make it work with a pseudo cheese, but there's the strategy behind the madness. We'll see what they want to do when they round out their team comp. But the Shen, picked with the Rek'Sai and the Corki. We've seen how much work Spooks can do on that Rek'Sai, even split pushing against Banner of Commanded minions, a masterstroke in terms of decision making. And then they've got the Shen to boot. Very good at turning that on, just making his way to team fights. They could potentially run the 1-3-1.
Yeah, already a double global composition with only 3 picks there on the board. So, of course, lots of different options here. We'll see whether Swiffer decides to take the Twisted Fate. That's an interesting one there, but it is going to be Ejim locking away the Annie very, very quickly, and there's the Victor for Swiffer there in the mid lane. So look, an understandable pick. This guy plays a lot of Victor.
So there's a lot of engage and a lot of follow-up, especially around the mid-centric part of the game where they really get that heavy team fighting going. Chiefs will be able to work around the 1-3-1. Suddenly everyone can come back to the mid lane. Their team fighting is just ridiculously good once they start getting the big tanky. Even level 11 on that Shen ultimate will just be huge. They've got the engage from Ejim, the damage from both Raider and Swiffer, especially once they get the Trinity Forces and that first big item from Swiffer in the mid lane on Victor. He can blow anyone up. That team comp is very scary.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see this, but Strawbell is going to lock away Kha'Zix. So I'm not entirely sure what the support is going to be here.
Trundle?
Right. Okay, Trundle support. So using them pillars.
Yep. That's pretty much all it does. So you've got the pillars. You can reduce AD of your targets, of course, with the bite. So that's very nice. And then you can take away tank stats of someone that has come into your lane. The thing is they're against an Annie, so doesn't necessarily reduce any statistics whatsoever. They might just want to use it on the Corki, so he's a little bit more vulnerable. And it does make Trundle a very innately tanky champion in that regard. Can just kind of build raw health and use the ultimate to become a pseudo tank. So might suit the Relic Shield style of stacking of a Trundle in a support lane. We'll see how it actually does work out, but you're right, a very interesting team comp coming out of Absolute.
Yeah, and I find it really crazy coming from Strawbella as well. Was sort of this more solid, disengaged support. We sort of knew what to expect from her moving in. It was Mattress that was throwing all of the curveballs, but now with the Trundle support, Strawbella is definitely sort of branching out and getting on sort of this train of crazy pick style.
Yeah, it's almost like a train of crazy picks against the Chiefs to try and cheese them out, confuse them, and just try and make it work early game.
I think it's successful here as far as the casters.
Confuse yourself, of course. It's not going to be that great, to be perfectly honest. They're probably going to look for a lane swap just to try and make it work in their favor. Trundle might be able to be unlocked in terms of a support. They might even just run 3 people in the jungle for all I know, because Trundle's really good at that.
Well, that's a good point. We'll see exactly what happens. And if you are a fan of crazy mix-ups here, make sure you hop on Twitter. Use that hashtag ABSWin if you think Absolute are going to take this one. But if you're definitely a Chiefs fan through and through, you want that 14-0, use that hashtag CHFWin and share your enthusiasm for them taking that dream run through the OPL for Split 2.
Yeah, the dream run, the perfect run, just one game away, and it is this game right now. So it's coming down to all of this in one moment. Something we haven't touched on right now, though, is the Kha'Zix jungle. We've spoken a lot about Trundle and how we don't really know what it's capable of doing because we've never really seen the Trundle in the support lane. Most likely a potential lane swap, but in saying that, Kha'Zix jungle, super squishy, super low health, pretty much at all stages of his jungle. It is quite weak. It's very susceptible to ganks before it ramps up in its relevant skill. And we'll see how that actually goes against the Rek'Sai, who's very strong early. Yeah,
and Spooks can just get into that jungle as well, mix things up, get the knock up, make sure Kha'Zix, while he's low in that jungle, could be quite susceptible. And Spooks, he's very confident in his lanes. He understands that he can go into the enemy jungle. He can screw with them if he wants to, mess up their jungle pathing, make sure that they can lose buffs. So we'll see whether he's going to do that, whether Spooks is going to spend a lot of his time outside of his jungle.
Yeah, definitely. There's the potential for that to actually happen from Spooks. He's got a very reliable team, of course, as you mentioned. All 3 lanes generally doing their job and at least keeping control or keeping pressure there to enable him to invade, to enable him to do whatever he would like. He kind of gets a free reign of the entire map to make things happen. Against the Kha'Zix, it's quite easy to pick a spot to invade his jungle. Reasonably fast. He does a fair bit of damage, especially on isolated targets. He'll always start the Gromp for that exact reason for the most part. It'll be very predictable to maybe get in his jungle and invade.
Yeah, and of course, Kha'Zix, a few sort of slight buffs there, making sure that you can get targets isolated a little bit more easily. That range has been lowered just a little bit. So Kha'Zix may be experiencing a little bit of a better time, but it's not going to affect his jungle pathing. It's not really going to affect how he ganks the lane as well, considering the fact that there's often minions there. So we'll see how Kha'Zix actually manages to go, of course, moving around the jungle, getting things done, and affecting these lanes. Do you have to get an early lead on Kha'Zix? Is that how you're effective?
It definitely helps. If you can get ahead as Kha'Zix, even find the kills in the ganks, not even the assists, so that you can start ramping up your damage. It is the part where you have to have a big threat. If you fall behind at all as Kha'Zix, it's very difficult to continue to have an impact in the game. In saying that, he's got a very good support top laner to help him out with maybe finding kills. It is going to be on a Shen, which is, again, another another reason why I think maybe they want to put the lane swap into effect, because in terms of lanes you can gank, I don't really see a Trundle lane being an effective gank place unless the pillar is just godlike and cancels the Corki jump. That is entirely possible, by the way. So we'll see if that can happen. But in saying that, you put Cho'Gath in a 1v1 lane against an AD carry, perhaps a Kha'Zix can destroy that.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that Victor might be the target here, of course. Does have mobility once you do upgrade that Hex Core to augment your Q. But other than that, a little bit susceptible to those ganks. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to get into this game ASAP, so let's throw it over to the caster desk with Pastry Time and Spawn.
Thank you very much, Atlas and Rusty and Spawn. What more to say about that draft? There are some curveballs coming out of the Absolute Team Comp today.
Yeah, I think that's a boomerang because it might come back and hit him in the face, but we'll see exactly how it works out, because you know if there's anything that has been consistent against the Chiefs is that people like to try and mix it up, like to throw something different at them. They deal with standard very well. Maybe this will shake them enough.
Maybe, but the Chiefs, I guess conversely, are actually going very standard. You know, picking the strong champions, give the victor in, pick the Rek'Sai. Like, don't show anything moving into playoffs. They know they've already clinched first. I clinched it, I think, a couple of weeks ago at this stage. Not trying to throw something crazy out there, maybe to, you know, inflict fear into the other opponents. Just keeping things safe, keeping it simple.
Yeah, you know, they have, like, Annie in the bottom lane, which is a little bit different, and maybe a Shen running around the map. So they haven't done the usual Chiefs thing. Chiefs, to me, is, like, very tanky support, very tanky jungler, initiate, get in there. But, you know, this time, Swiper is on a pure tank. He's been playing a lot of Hecarim and Rumble. 10 of the 13 games so far have been on those two champions. So he's mixing it up a little bit at least. But you're right, apart from that, very standard. You expect them to not give anything away and just try and close this out pretty by the book.
Yeah, you know, get that 14th win, go undefeated for the regular season. Can the Chiefs do it? They're only one more game away. They fell at the second last hurdle in split one, I believe. Losing in game number 13 would be a tragedy to lose in game 14, but this is the last one they have left until semis.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you know, undefeatedness doesn't really suit the Chiefs. If you go back historically, they slip up a little bit, but Jack attack.
That is a really small looking Cho'Gath. Has not grown up yet. Ejim
Wow.
flash W for the stun. Jack in a flash out. That's
Got
enough damage. Swiffer flashes for first blood.
Yeah, able to pick up the first blood on the mid laner. Swiffer, second in the league in kills before this night started with 75.
It's not bad.
First is Radiant
He's got a couple.
on 116.
Yep. Beating, I believe, the split one regular season record by
A lot.
Yeah.
I think it was 97 coming through there or something.
107, I
Oh,
think,
was it
from
107?
King. Yeah.
Okay, yep.
So, yeah, Raider is only looking to compound on that record. He's well and truly the kill leader. I don't know if anyone, I say this, like, worryingly, I don't know if anyone can catch him at this point. Highly unlikely, although I'll say technically possible.
Yeah, like
But he smashed that record.
Just for some context for how high that is, Sudden Fear currently 107 kills.
Yep.
Even a team like Sin Gaming, who have done relatively well, they only have 138. So Radier is a one-man team of 5 right now.
He's gotten, I mean, he has been funneled a lot of kills. So we'll see how this shakes out. How high can Radier go today with his kill score? I guess we're going to find out. So last game.
Yeah, and you know, game number 13 coming through. One thing to watch is that Spooks has only died 13 times. So if he lives this undefeated, doesn't die in this game, one death per game. Gonna be good.
It's the 14th game. I hope he does. He can.
He gets one more. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Hope he does
He
twice.
needs to
There you
die
go.
once.
Exactly.
Just Chiefs.
Well, I'm sure Spooks can hook up the one death. We'll see if he can get more than that here. As Agam and Radier going to go down to the bottom side of the map. Start clearing out some, after clearing out the Krog, it's going to start laning here. And it is 2v2 as First Mate on the Lucian and Strawbella with the Trundle support.
Yeah, so First Mate has to show us something different this game. Only Corki before this, but we'll see whether Radier able to play the Corki. Of course, this is, he's played it a lot of times so far already, so nothing new here. Definitely not just a pick away. Radier loves that champion and the mobility it brings.
This is kind of a bonus that it's a pick away. As you can see, Ejim just layering Poker into First Mate. Not bad pillar, actually, displacing Ejim. It's kind of a preview of the lane to come, I feel like.
Goodness, that was adorable.
That was great.
I don't have anything to hit you back with, so I'm going to do a damage with a pillar.
Yep. Does it do damage?
1, I think,
Just
because it
one
gives you an
damage.
assist.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh, that's the secret right there. Trundle
it.
support can clear out wards without a red sweeper.
Nice. Leona style there, just biting the ward away. Mid-beast and Swiffer, though, having a duel in the mid lane, but Victor versus Fizz, a bit of a weird one early on. Swiffer winning that first early trade.
Yeah, Fizz generally loses out to a lot of things in the very early game, but you know, as the game progresses, Swiffer going to have to be careful in his map movement. We say it all the time, but if Fizz catches you unaware, maybe checking another lane, trying to do something a little bit clever. Tends to 100 to 0 you in very quick fashion.
Yeah, got first blood as well, did Swiffer, as Malik unfortunately forced off that Krug. This is the thing about Kha'Zix, gets a little low in that jungle.
Yeah, you know, it's weird as well because you can't really max the W anymore, although
Ooh,
Spook's
stun
going
lands
in.
in. Spooks looking for first mate, forces the flash. Will miss the ward, I believe, with the Raptor Sense buff. Will indeed, but well worth the summoner spell.
Oh, 100%. Able to put even more pressure down into this bottom lane. And, you know, you listen to Spook's talk. He says that he has become a little bit more bottom-centric, likes to leave Swiffer to do his own thing. But you can tell why with such a dangerous lane with Radiant and Aegim down there, especially on someone like Annie, it's just... How could you not gank that as a jungle?
And I feel like on the other side from Swiffer, we've actually heard, you know what? The metagame just sort of suits that.
Yeah, he's like, I'm happy to farm up. Creeps me in a lot in the mid lane right now. He's a very good CSer. It's getting aggressive.
Yeah, he's not getting ganked though as Malik looks for it. We'll find the pink one instead. Spook's going to try and change in. Exhaust down. Gravity Field's great into the double on Borrow. Finds the stun. Midbeast still chasing though. Ignite is down. Swiffer will barely live through all that. And now Midbeast going away as Aegim comes in, gives Spooks the kill.
Yeah, able to pick it up there in the end. So another kill over onto the Chiefs lineup. And Swiffer got away by the skin of his teeth there. One auto attack probably would have done it by Midbeast, but not able to get into range. And what a good combo there with the knock up into the gravity field, ensuring the, I guess, prolonged stun coming through.
Yeah, made sure that delayed CC hit as Aegim will not eat a pillar. First mate going aggressive. Good Q down there, gets a nice trade in. Lucian. We haven't seen it yet from first mate, but it is nice into the call key.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Strawberry Bella just will not be denied, you know, up in Annie's face right now, making sure being a pesky support. And I want to say that the bite saps away AD. I know it used to.
Yeah, it does.
Still does. So, you know, good in the support position if he's ever able to get into
melee
she
range.
is able to get into melee range.
Bit tricky to get in the melee range, but we'll see how it goes down. There's another pillar just going in there, throwing them out constantly. Curious to see what this does when they transition out of the lane. That's clearly where trying to support
I think
going to get a bit more
Shen.
value. That seems fine.
Yeah,
Eat him with Jack Attack. Maybe they have the tank killing comp.
maybe.
Genius. As the radio actually, good pillar there again. Great stuff from Aegim to defend Aegim, but I like what Absolute are doing here. They are fighting with this lane.
That's a really cool combo coming through there, making sure that you get the knock up towards the AD carry, dashing out of the Foss Bomb, and then just putting down a world of hurt. Radiant now has to take some Krugs, or at least get some auto attacks off for some lifesteal.
Yeah, gets a couple of hits back there. Going to reset them. This is actually really clever from Radiant, what he's doing here.
Yeah, he's just getting a little bit of life back. You know, he probably got a shop in that time as well, but decides not to.
Means more CS, clearly. His first mate's actually got the lead at 5. But Aegim going to hold the lane here and make sure Radiant cleans up the rest of them.
Yeah, and the danger is that there's relatively low mana pools on both the AD and support on Absolute lineup, so not really much going to come across. There's Jack Attack
Yeah.
in trouble.
Cho'Gath here, yeah, he's in
Huge
trouble
trouble.
because Spooks is coming around the side. Swiper buying time, baiting him in, and he's been completely baited out. Jack Attack can't really eat anyone just yet. Will get knocked up the feast. Not there yet, and Spooks gets another kill.
Yeah, probably should have just gone for the last creep. That was really prolonged there by Jack. He was sitting at the turret just waiting to be ganked with not very much vision control coming through there. So in the end, another kill over to the Chiefs.
And you know what? Jack, wanting to be ganked, does get answered there by Spooks. He comes in for his second successful gank, this time in the top lane.
He go off the Warrior.
I like it. Aggression here from the Rek'Sai. Don't see it too often, but usually in some sort of snowball situation.
Yeah, exactly right. So it is a very big snowball item. Although Swiper now, oh, he hit him.
I was so ready for Flash Feast, but it wasn't quite enough damage. I'm very sad.
Yep, not in range there. And of course, the Flash still available from Swiper, so not in much danger to go through there.
Was silence at the time, but you're right. Was okay there on the Shen. Pretty tanky. As goes back and buys a Spectre's Cow. We've got a Catalyst actually for Jack, so seems like Spirit Visage versus Rod of Ages might be our first early itemization in the top lane.
Yeah, certainly looks to be the case. And a very old build for a legacy champion up there in the top lane in Jack. And Radiant overextending a little bit. Strawbella wants that pillar.
Oh, can see it. First mate as well. Relatively close to 6. They've actually got good all-in potential. Should be able to beat the Chiefs to the punch here. I was like, I think they have a slight XP lead. They're trying to time it. I think they want it.
Yeah, Radiant has level 6 already. He's just trying to poke with rockets, but that was because Aegim went to the mid lane.
Ooh, Spooks sees Malik there, knows he's around the bottom side, but lining up a dive now as Victor's going to roam over as well. This is trouble for the Absolute duo.
Certainly is, but you know, they've also got another member.
Oh,
5.
Stand United down as well. First mate going to get dove. Will go down to Spooks. He gets another kill. Now Strawbella going to get dove as the Chaos Storm comes in. Radiant forced to heal. Is actually tanking the turret for a brief moment, but the exhaust goes down. That's another kill as the double comes through for Shen. That's 3-0 under the turret for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and in the end, Absolute, they're going to lose the first turret of the game at 6-0 right now. It's about 3,000 gold to lead, and Chiefs doing what they've done all season, just coordination across the mark and picking teams apart.
Going to lose the first dragon as well. Our Absolute as the Chiefs line up a very nice dive in the bottom side. Jack Attack did get the tower in the top, so there's the trade at least as far as gold goes, but full advantage Chiefs in that exchange.
Yeah, exactly right. So the Chiefs looking very strong throughout this early game, only going to get scarier as Victor begins to ramp up. Now 20 CS up in that lane. Really only Swiper who's having a hard time in his lane. He's 20, 30 CS down.
Struggling a bit against the Choga. Gromp actually attacks him as well, so
He
being
just can't
betrayed
get a
by his own
break.
jungle. Jack Attack, no feast though, can't finish off the Grump and Swiper. We'll just keep pushing things out on Shen.
Yeah, so we'll see whether Swiper is able to continue to farm up, get himself back into this game. Of course, Cho'Gath, with his sustain and I guess the constant harass coming through, is quite difficult to lane against sometime. And Shen just going to look to weather that storm. 2 kills now help him out significantly.
And global gold from the tower as well, although Absolute do have one of their own, so maybe equalizing on that front. But the Warrior is done for Spooks, and there's a Fade and a Sheen done for Radiant. Those power items are coming quickly for the Chiefs.
Yeah, they certainly are right now. The Chiefs definitely in position to fight, although
Ejim face checks Malik and Jack Attack. No Rupture though coming in as Ejim does get the stun. Knock up all there. Jack Attack wants to eat him. Does flash feast after the silence, but they're going to chase Malik, who hops away to safety. And they might just dive Jack.
Yeah, they certainly are looking for it right now.
Yep, gonna go in. Rupture's good, they dodge it though. Swiper buys time, now aggro's the turret. Will get the knock up there, will Spook. And another kill for the Warrior Rek'Sai. 4-0-2 now.
Yeah, so Spook's really padding those numbers coming through there. They are able to once again trade turrets. This time it's Absolute staying at home with that bottom lane chunking through that one, but the Chiefs able to grab top.
Yeah, so a good trade for Absolute. Keeps them in the game as far as the turret score goes, but 3,000 gold behind. Teleport used by Swiper to make sure the tier 2 and bottom stays safe and still behind a dragon. Absolute, especially with the champion that the Chiefs have, things aren't going to get easier once we roll around to 15-20 minutes.
They certainly are, especially with the CS discrepancy in the mid lane coming through there. You know, Malik, he's always going to be able to make Swiffer's day a little bit miserable, but Swiffer could just turn around and kill him at the same time. So do need to coordinate the double assassination coming through here onto either Radiant and Swiffer, then look to disengage and set up the fight correctly around Jack CC.
They do, but right now the Chiefs, again, getting that vision down. There's no buffs to take. They're going to look for the towers here instead. Do have the 2 already, but Absolute have the same 2 there, so mirrored on those sides of the map. But pushing down the mid with the Corki doesn't quite have the Trinity Force yet, but going to do good jobs with the Sheen autos regardless.
Yeah, and the response is send first mate in there to start wave clearing out, so we'll have to see where mid beast decides to go. He's not really in the split pushing spike he's looking for because doesn't have the CDR quite yet to be able to survive these trades, and can't really go 1v1 with either Swiffer or Swiper.
No, and I think the unfortunate thing is that Swiper, who is going Spirit Visage first for the Cho'Gath lane, sort of double dips against Fizz as well.
Yeah, 100%, you know, so they're not going to be able to utilize the split pushing Fizz throughout the mid game. Generally, Fizz is okay even against them, MR, just because of the damage amp, but Ejim looking aggressive.
Yeah, Pillar goes down, but it's not enough to stop the onslaught on the turret. The Chiefs will push down their 3rd turret of the game, and this time Absolute do not have the answer.
Yeah, so Absolute not able to trade this time around. 4,000 gold still the lead. They're behind mid.
Oh, they've caught Malik. Massive ultis go down from Victor and Annie, and that's a kill onto 1. Mid-Beast's going to run back to his turret, but his jungler was not so lucky.
Yeah, so they're looking to push through, see if they can get the first tier 2 of the game.
This will be a nice push. Tibbers actually tanking up as well. There's a nice increase to their pushing power. Molten Shield down. Tibbers is massively tanky, and they're just going to go in. Spooks looks for the Umbara. They get the turret.
Ooh.
Fish lands onto Spooks. Gravity Field to zone them away, though. And the Chiefs going to poke them as they run. They should get out safely.
Yeah, so in the end, Chiefs get out safely. Now 5,000 gold is their advantage, and they're just methodically moving through the jungle, removing any advantage.
Swiffer gets popped. Gravity Field down. Box Jack Attack away. Absolute not a bad spot to pick a fight, but still a 5v4 with Malik limping back from his last injury.
Yeah, so not looking to really fight that one, and in the end, successful disengage going to be achieved by the Chiefs, and Spooks.
Yep. A little too aggressive there on that recall position. Raid here Gets away safely, though, because Spooks bought him a bit of additional time.
They will lose some of their vision control over that area, and Dragon is up in a couple of minutes. You can see how deep the Chiefs' vision control is. So if Absolute kind of stay in this area, they're in a big hole in the vision, and they're trying to grab a turret.
Yep, but the wave is here for Swiffer. He's got the upgrade on the E. Will get knocked up there. They'll dive in there. Malik just going through. Midbeast actually diving straight onto Swiffer.
Wow, they got
he will go down. Spook's going down as well. EG almost dies as Radiant is forced to pop the heal. Malik will die as a result. But the pop-ups onto Radiant, 2 for 1.
I thought the reset was going to come through for Aegon, but in the end, it's only the 2 for 1, but still a positive trade, and this is what we're talking about. Double assassination comp can always make something happen.
Yep, and they have to make a bit more happen in this game, but they do bring that gold back a little bit now as Chiefs just under 5,000 gold ahead as Jack Attack with his feast can be able to take away that blue buff, but Swiper looks to be spotting him away.
Trying to grab that one. You can see on the other side of the map, Radiant returning the favor, so both blue buffs going to be stolen.
One for Corky, but it looks like Radiant already collected his. And one for Jack Attack there is going to go back to the top lane to join Swiper, who has finished off a Giants Bar and that Spirit Visage we saw earlier. Trinity Force completed for Corky as well. Things looking good for the Chiefs with Dragon back in 35 seconds.
Yeah, so going to be able to contest that next buff, of course, keeping an eye on the death count. Spooks has picked up his 14th death for the season, so got to see whether he does get the second one through there.
That'll be painful.
That would
hurt the stats.
Moral victories right now.
Yep.
Pastry, that's what we're looking for.
Quite possibly here. The Chiefs have just looked so strong all season long. Not missing a beat right now, apart from that dive that was very well executed by Absolute, but real point of pressure coming now. 10 seconds till that second Dragon.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to get good positional advantage. You see, we mentioned the hole in this. Wow.
Goodbye, Strawbella. Ulti down there. Double ulti coming as Chaos Storm goes down as well. Raiding with the pokes enough, and Spooks gets another kill.
Yeah, so able to pick that one up on the back end, and we talked about the ability for Chiefs to control vision, and we said there was a big hole. All of a sudden, double pink wards down some tunnels, and a ward over the edge means that they had complete control over that area. Strawbella, once again, had to face check, didn't know what was happening, and gets taken out.
It wasn't a Chaos Storm, by the way. I think it might have been a Rek'Sai on Burrow. Spirit does still have his ulti, but a second Dragon nonetheless for the Chiefs. A Swiper, Malik's tanking the turret. That's not where he wants to be, but they are going to dive in. The Feast lands in as well. They will get the kill. Malik avoids his way away with the ulti. And now Swift are going to chase them down. Can he catch them? Jack Attack trying to zone them away. Deathray lands. Gravity Field not quite there. And he can't chase them through the Rupture.
Yeah, you see that Midbeast was also coming in for a little bit of a flank. So in the end, Swiffer has to back away. It's a kill that goes down, but the Chiefs secure Dragon, and 5,000 gold is still their advantage.
Yep, so kept that lead at about the same, but do have another Dragon, so are starting to gain further ground in this game. See Spooks kind of just going tanky after this. Looks like Randuin's might be the purchase, but Warrior Rek'Sai, it's been a while. Malik kind of obviously going Warrior as well for the Kazakhs, but I like the confidence in Spooks. You got the first 2 kills, you got that assist, and just like, you know what? Let's close the game out early. I'm just going to go Warrior.
Yeah, so he goes for the earlier spike. You're definitely correct there, but, you know, as the game progresses, Cinderhulk definitely does outperform the Warrior, and we'll see whether he goes a second offensive item. We saw last week that he went the Black Cleaver to really get himself into split push mode because there was a lot of magic damage on the top side of the map with a Banner of Command. So made a lot of sense, but you can see he's still absorbing farm.
Yep, this is sort of Rek'Sai's thing. Tunnels away there. Actually borrows, finds Jack Attack. Nails a Pro Seeker and leaves because it's like, yeah, Jack's actually kind of scary. Rod of Ages with 6 stacks, I believe, and a need to see large rod. Jack going full AP on this build.
Yeah, going to look to see if he can assassinate someone. That seems to be the aim of the game. Get all 3 assassins now because AP Cho'Gath is a very big assassin onto one of the priority targets and see if you can kill them instantly.
Yeah, Swiffer and Ready, that 2-threat comp here for the Chiefs. I mean, Spooks might be a decent damage threat with Warrior, especially if he does go something like that Black Cleaver. All right, now the Chiefs are looking for their next move. Baron's not up. No obvious towers to take with 4 already down. They're going to send Swiper to the bottom lane. Maybe that's their next move.
But this is the evolution of the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't going to force anything right now. They're going to sit back, wait, absorb farm when they can, make sure it's on priority people, and just continue to pressure the map. They understand right now that it's very hard to siege tier 2s. So you don't need to. You can just pressure, keep your 5,000 gold lead, and transition it into a good mid game.
Yeah, as long as you can keep hold of that Dragon, should be a solid plan here. So we'll have to see. Might be waiting between Dragons as the Chiefs calmly pushing the waves out. But Absolute with all those assassins, all that nuke damage coming from the Cho'Gath, they just need to find picks here. Who can they find? But Spooks and the Tremor Sense being really annoying on that front.
Yeah, and you can see they're just continually pushing their vision up, making sure, oh, they go in.
Yeah, Spooks actually gets the Unburrow. Knocks up Jack Attack as Radiant just weaves a couple autos in there, and Malik gets chunked to 50% health. Swiper also still running interference in the bottom lane. The Chiefs, with only 3 people in the top, are getting 2 different pushes on.
Yeah, exactly right. So they're able to control the map, and this is what we were talking about. They're not going to pull the trigger. They're going to look to periodically just extend their control, and they've done it incredibly well. Swiper now exits. He has his ultimate available, and we'll see whether they look to pressure top.
Yeah, Swiffer can't quite do enough damage to the mid turret. Doesn't have a Lich Bane or anything like that just yet. Just the Merlinomicon and the level 2 Hex Core. We'll see where he goes with this build. Probably something like a Death Cap is to be expected. Swiper getting tankier. Actually, a Bloodthirster, I think, coming through for Raider. At least has the BF sword. Could go Infinity Edge there as well. Just versus the Aether first mate. You can see just, you know, half an item more completed for the Chiefs just from that gold lead.
Yeah, and I think we spoke to Derek O'Radier last week, and he said that he really does like the dueling potential that comes out of Blade of the Ruined King second. But I know that he also appreciates the sieging potential that you get out of BT, because you're able to tank a turret shot, get the machine crit, not crit, machine empowered auto attack, and then be able to back away, and you can just suddenly, steadily chunk through turrets, and we'll see whether that's what he's going for.
And again, tier 2s, like you mentioned, a little tricky to really take away, as Swiffer will take the blue buff, with Swiper having an assist there on that one. But you know, the Chiefs, if they get to that second item for the Corki, they can just play patient, rotate around, take the turrets where there are obvious weaknesses, and Radier eats a Rupture and just ignores it as first mate enters his own jungle and then immediately rethinks that decision.
Yeah, exactly right, though. He's gone aggressive now.
Ooh, Radier forced to heal that. Egypt flashing in. They will get the pick. Burst mate barely lives, but will finally go down to Swiffer after the combo. Teleport there for Jack. Radier does have to be careful, but he skirts the edge of that Rupture. Spooks has dove onto Malik with Swiper Cell. They've taken him out. Jack now going to be the next kill. Turret down, Chaos Storm down as well. Swiffer will die to the ulti there from mid base, who's still diving through, but goes down to Radier, and now Strawbella, the next target. Not all that tanky on the triangle, although Jack with a nice silence will keep them at bay. Trying to run CC. Strawbella low. Would have died if that rocket had hit.
Yeah, that was a big one in the end. A little bit of a miss coming through from Radier. 2-0 and 8. And you see that Spook's able to pick up another kill on the backline. This Warrior enchant definitely doing work. And the Chiefs, after they take a couple of kills in a turret, back out.
Yeah, going to take the red buff. Know that they don't need to press any further. Still early on in the game at under 21 minutes in. The Bloodthirster now completed. Swiper going to go back and spend some money there as well. And Victor is approaching a big ticket item. Which one he wants is up to him.
Yeah, exactly right. You would expect it is going to be the Death Cap coming through right now. And Dragon up in 30 seconds. Chiefs will need to re-establish their vision control, because that's what they fight around, but are in a good position to take number 3 relatively uncontested. If they do contest it, you would expect them to win the fight.
Yeah, smart though for the Chiefs to give blue buffs to Swiffer before that happens. He'll get it in time as he gets it now and walks his way over. And just to play to the top side of the map when Dragon's not there.
Yeah, so in the end, they're going to have the teleport available. Of course, that's a benefit of Shen. And it looks like Absolute still want to fight. They recognize the longer this game goes, probably the worse off they're going to be. So trying to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs still, just through, I guess, raw champion pick.
Yeah, Jack has a Luden's Echo. Get to that one later. The Spooks.
I think I made my
Yep, definitely heard a lot
clear
from
on
me
Luden's.
tonight on Luden's Echo. Radiant now going to take out some minions. And the Chiefs going to look for Dragon number 4.
So looks like no contest in the end going to come through. Spooks can just start it up whenever he wants. Although, maybe Radier dies.
Ooh, sneaky Malik. Trying to find Radier. Damage not bad. Pops his ulti, goes invisible, but Radier's like, yeah, still got damage. Not enough there. Radier goes in. Oh, he gets the kill, but now First Mate's going to get him, but Egypt throws a bear on his face. Teleport down there as Radier gets the double kill. Swiper's in the house.
I need to see that replay. Oh, wow.
Spooks getting fished. Swiffer chasing in, though. Spooks does not want to die again. Don't forget. And he will be safe for now. The precious stats are preserved.
Yeah, not going to fall down, which is huge. I want to see that replay, because I think that Radier crit on the back end and killed the Kha'Zix, and I could hear a scream out of Zach Rusty Pie.
Here we go. Watch again. Does he get the crit?
Yeah, gotta watch for it. You see very good 1v1 potential coming out of there.
Nailed it. Oh, no.
No, it was just a Sheen auto attack. So, you know, in the end, it wasn't that. It was just a very big Sheen auto.
You know
and
what?
Able to get the double.
If the Sheen auto had not been enough, Raider is a good player. He would have hit the crit.
He
As
definitely
Baron
would have.
is now the objective for the Chiefs. They are just destroying it at this point. Poor Baron, barely been alive 3 minutes in and he's already dead.
Yeah, the 3-minute-old Baron. He's still adolescent.
He is.
Please think about the children, but in the end, Chiefs unrelenting in everything.
Yeah, and now 10,000 gold ahead from all the plays they've made across the map. A perfect hex score for Swiffer, another BF sword for Radier, and a Randuin's Omen for both the jungler and the top laner. Things are out of control.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you see their scoreline right now. Swiffer the real only feeder on their team. He's not having much fun at 3, 2, and 4, but everyone else playing incredibly solid League of Legends. And realistically, it's only because they keep diving Swiffer.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad target to kill. Victor, good in lots of different types of fights, especially protracted ones. But ABS, they've got what, triple assassin comp, I think you coined it? They need a pick here, but it's going to get harder and harder given the gold deficit.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, they really need Strawbella to ult the person they want to go for, strip away all those resistances, then pile in on top. Although Jack might have been caught.
Jack in the gravity field gets kind of, whoa, that damage from Victor.
Yeah, Victor does,
like a
especially with the
3,000
perfect
health
head core.
trigger.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage coming through there.
It's without the death cap, which I'm sure is on the way soon. Spooks tunnels away.
Oh, Malik having a chuckle.
Threatens. That does not go in. Absolute spotted by a Pro Seeker as Ejim going to run interference around the top side. Malik lucky to not get bared, to be perfectly honest. Ejim, I'm not surprised he didn't throw an ulti in his face. But that's a 6 turret now for Chiefs.
Yeah, so we'll see whether the Chiefs, with this huge wave, able to get in and do some turret damage.
Baron buff helping out here as well. Jack does have his teleport, so he's going down to the bottom lane to interfere with Swiper's plans in the bottom half of the map. But a siege pink down there for Ejim, and the Chiefs gonna patiently wait in this formation.
Yeah, they're just waiting for their cannon creep to arrive right now. It's going to be on this wave coming through, and now they'll be able to siege up.
Yeah, actually going, oh my god, Ejim, double ulti, Chaos Storm down, and that's 2 kills. Now
Wow.
Malik gonna get chased in. Raiders doing far too much damage. Another kill goes down as Jack teleports in to see his friends die. Mid-beast can't go anywhere near it. Radier, oh my god, that rocket would have been a kill. But Mid-beast flashes out, and the Chiefs in complete control, looking to go undefeated. They are so close as the top inhibitor breaks.
Yeah, and you know, still 10 seconds and a very fed AD carry means that these Nexus turrets won't last very long.
First one goes down. Can they get the second? Looking to commit. No, don't go too deep. Have already taken more than enough with that Baron buff. Talisman their way out as Ejim's going to pop that one. And the Chiefs so close now to the 14-0 and a very fearsome-looking semi-final opponent for whoever is to face them.
It definitely is. Right now, if you are Direwolf, you have some extra incentive to play this last game against Sin incredibly solidly, because the Chiefs right now look like they're on an absolute tear. As you said, perfect season is within reach. Game is not over yet, but 14,000 gold at full spook.
Not.
Think about...
Most importantly, think about the stats. Don't want to die that 15th time.
You do not. You do not want to give that away.
Got 1 death already. Actually, going Hex Drinker now. Quite like that item.
It's very cost efficient, especially against all the AP on the team. So yeah, you know, definitely right there. The shield also is really beneficial against the likes of Fizz.
And ABS maybe just relegated to camping brushes, but unfortunately for them, Baron is not up. The top inhibitor is down. Chiefs are not walking to that side of the map.
Yeah, that's a very strange brush to decide to camp if you're going to go for one.
Well, I can tell you this much. If they for some reason walked over there, they would not expect that.
Oh no, that is the last place you would expect ABS to be, but doesn't work out in the end, and the siege
The
continues.
Zonya's now for Swiffer as well. That's his first big need to see large rod item of choice. And just coming in, you can see the poke again. Put the gravity field down. Swiffer's going to eat a fish. He does pop the Zonya's to make sure he doesn't eat the knock up all the damage. And the Chiefs going to keep pushing. Swiper again in the mid lane, just casually pushing it on Shen.
Yeah, trying to be as frustrating as possible. You see that Infinity Edge has been finished up for Radier right now. Level 16 Corki. 6 levels higher than Strawbella.
That is a lot.
Wow.
This turret's going to melt. Radier, more than enough damage to finish. Just playing aggressively. Does get pillared.
Doesn't care.
We'll be okay. Doesn't care at all. He's the front line right now. He's going in.
Culling does no damage.
No, unfortunately, First Mate just
Good
doesn't have
shout
the
by
items.
Jack. Jack does damage still.
Yeah, no, I mean, he can eat someone. Hopefully Raid is probably the ideal target, but there are far too many threats on the Chiefs. And now they're going to take this other inhibitor. Swipe has been working on the third. And just going to go in. Ejim flashes forward, gets the bear down onto Malik. The knock-up's good. That's the kill. Nexus turret goes down. Swifferno's on his this time, but Stand United might go down. Gets eaten by Jack as Mid-Beast does take the kill, but Jack will fall. Strobella will die. Radiant flashes forward. He wants more kills to pad the record. First mate gets destroyed.
Will Spooks die for the Penta.
Don't do it, Spooks. It's not worth it. It's not worth your precious stats. Mid-Beast gets dove in by Swiper, but the Chiefs will finish the season undefeated.
Yeah, and in the end, it's a 28-minute, pretty convincing win there against a unique ABS lineup. And, you know, they tried to throw the curveball, but once again, Chiefs just look so solid in their gameplay. Even what you would, last game of the season, no way they can lose first. They play it by the book, great vision control coming through there, really good strategy. And in the end, they're just too good.
And again, played it standard. You know, didn't throw anything crazy. Didn't give, Swiper a Trinity game for a bit of fun. Just wanted to keep undefeated, keep the record good, and just make sure they look the strongest possible moving into semifinals.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, you saw the ability to control the lanes. Only really top went a little bit sour because of the Cho'Gath bully. Everywhere else, they just look so comfortable.
Yeah, and a dominant game for the Chiefs. They end the Dream on at 14-0, but let's get a little bit more from Atlas and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Pace, for time, and congratulations to the Chiefs, 14-0. And ladies and gentlemen, you may have thought that Absolute were trolling a little bit that game, and of course it was true in Straubella's case, but it is a legitimate pick there in that bottom lane. I'm standing behind that.
There are reasons to argue as to why the Trundle is good. So that, well, first and foremost, we'll look at the fact of how laning phase goes, okay? So to keep in mind that Trundle has a passive that gives health back with every minion that dies, a percentage of their health gets returned to you. As a support, not only do you have a Relic shield to auto-attack and get yourself and your AD carry health back, every time he last hits a minion, you get some back yourself, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Of course, Subjugate there as well, a decent tool as far as removing resistances from any tanky supports that might be in the bottom lane. Of course, completely irrelevant in the last game, but can affect the likes of, Leona, something like that. If you Subjugate a Leona when she's got Eclipse on, it makes the Trundle incredibly tanky there on the bottom side of the map. But the main tool that you've got there is the Pillar of Ice, or what it used to be called, the Pillar of Filth.
Well, yes and no, of course. The way that it worked in that last game in particular is to cancel the Corki if he jumps. We actually saw it used to deny a gank from the Rek'Sai as he tunneled through. He tunneled actually quite slowly, I believe, and stopped him from getting a gank off. But for the most part, you look at Trundle, and the ultimate is actually a big factor because it reduces 40 resistances and 10% of max health, which is really big against champions in the top lane for the most part that do stack that health.
Yeah.
There are other reasons, of course, as to why you might like Trundle as a general pick. Keep in mind, we're not referencing entirely the last game. It does have its place. We've seen it in the LMS, the Taiwanese teams playing it. So it is an okay support option. So don't just take that last game as an exclusive example of what Trundle has to offer.
Yeah, Trundle can be used for other things, Rusty. You can definitely make stuff happen there on the bottom side of the map, and we'll see whether we see any more of it as things progress. But it is question time once again, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a few more of them up on your screen for us to answer. Who are the casters' favorite champions, and why are they Callista? Says Alexis Os. And they're not Callista. Mine's, in fact, Mordekaiser.
Callista's just the best. I can't argue it. It's definitely Yasuo, but if I had to choose between Callista or Callista, I mean, it's a pretty hard choice.
I'd probably go with Mordekaiser.
Yeah, well, that's you, Atlas, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's just the best. It's just a tin can. What can go wrong? Okay, let's go to the next question, ladies and gentlemen. Which region does the OPL play similarly to? Says Ellis. I'm not even going to try.
Okay, so for the most part, this region, Oceania, plays the most similar to NA, and that is because in terms of where we originated from, in terms of how we like to play, it is based heavily off the way that they work around the map. But you can take into account that since we have become our own server, we aren't playing exclusively like the NA server. We've developed a lot of little niche play styles from other prevalent servers such as China and Korea. For the most part, it's an NA play style with a Korean influence.
Yeah, a little while ago it was sort of very similar to the Chinese region before they got a whole lot of their Koreans over there because, of course, we want to fight all the time, and China, of course, also wanted to fight all the time. Wasn't all that much focus on vision. It was just, let's kill each other. But we still do have Rosie waiting alongside before his huge game. Oh, actually, no, we've got one more question. One more question, ladies and gentlemen. Where do you think OPL teams rank amongst the world? Says VS Licky.
I'll let you go first with this one.
Which OPL teams is the real question. But as far as where the OPL sits, That's a difficult one. Of course, I put us similarly to the likes of Turkey. Of course, it was a very, very close matchup back in IWCI back in those days. So, of course, Turkey very sort of similarly ranked. We haven't necessarily taken them out just yet, but those games are quite close. And we were able to keep up at IWCI, just missing out on a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think based off international performances that we have seen ourselves in, we can relate very closely to the Turkish teams and other wildcard regions. We are starting to rapidly improve, of course, and maybe be able to take that away with the next wildcards. For all we know, there is the chance of rapid improvement.
Yeah, the Chiefs definitely showing that they have made some improvements. 14-0, a little bit better than 13-1. So look, we'll see whether they can do it this time or whether it's going to be Legacy taking the throne, heading back overseas as well. But we are going to now throw it in with Rosie, Pastry Time, and Spawn.
Yes, we're all here back with Rosie. And Rosie, you have a very big game to play in just a couple minutes here.
I think it's not as big as some other games that I've played, but yeah, it's pretty big for this year.
So before we get into the next game, it's going to be Sin versus Dials, just FYI. How's your season going? Kind of changing teams, changing roles. Like, how have you felt sort of now at the end of the regular season, looking to play your last game, last few games?
Our start of the split, we were doing really well, especially as a new team. We had like me coming in as a new top laner. We had Boat coming in. So like, and they lost their short caller and Flying Dew. So we were like building the team basically from the ground up. And we thought we started off the season like really well. Well, I think like 5-3 at one point, like tied for second or something. And then our second half of the split is just like gone downhill, and we've kind of lost control of what we're doing.
So let's look at you a little bit as a player, though, because obviously you had a huge change coming into this split. I know that personally you were looking to be a little bit more influential, carry-oriented on the team. How would you rate your performance up in the top lane? Are you happy you're up there? What's happening?
I think some games like I could have had a bit more of an impact, but because I'm kind of new to the role, I don't know when to do it, kind of thing, and I'm not like able to be able to push my power spike, I guess.
Yep.
And I think that was shown in like our Hecarim games. Like I have like 200 CS lead on like a Maokai, and I can't push it. And I guess that's just me being inexperienced and unable to do it. So I think I might have been able to carry a few games and pushed it into the top 4, but yeah, hopefully next split.
Always your harshest critic.
So lining things up now, 5th place is what you're currently looking for. How important is the next match? Because you have to win this to break the potential tie for 5th. If you lose, you will play a tiebreaker. We now know that. But you will force me to cast another game.
Yeah.
Actually, no matter what you do, I'll have to cast another game.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so hopefully we're not the ones in that extra game, because we really just want to get 5th. So, I mean, having to play 2 pretty high-pressure games in a row will be pretty big, especially if we lose this game. Like, we're a pretty emotional team.
Yep.
So getting this win it'll mean a lot for us.
Yep. And I guess with that, hoping for 5th, get you back into the OPL for next season. How are you guys thinking about the team and like kind of next year and next split? How's that all going for you guys? Going to change anything? Are you happy with the roles? Are you going to move roles again? Anything you can tell us on that front?
No, I probably won't change roles. I think like I can stick with this, and I can be a really top laner. It's a bit weird, but and yeah, so if I stick with this and we stick as a team, I think we can really like challenge for a top spot, because we have a lot of potential. Like Rye's a really good mid laner. Juves knows a lot about the jungle, and he can probably beat anyone as well. And our bot lane is just going to grow as they play more. So as long as we can get our like teamwork down, then I think we can be a top team.
Well, I think so too. But with that, good luck in your next match. And we're going to get a little bit more from Rusty and Atlas on that one.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. We are going to move into the next match, of course.